Call the meeting of the Carthage City Council for January 14th to order. Interim Chief Hawkins, will you lead us in the invocation?
Yes. Heavenly Father, as we gather here tonight, we thank you for our health and our ability to be here. We ask that you examine our hearts, fill us with wisdom, so the result of our effort will bring glory to you and you alone. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Chief Hawkins, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk will call the roll.
Taylor.
Present.
Peterson.
Present.
Lease.
Present.
Heckmaster.
Present.
Barlow.
Here.
Schramm.
Present.
Now have reading and consideration of minutes of our previous meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the December 10th council meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 10th, 2024 meeting.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the December 10th meeting. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll now move on to public comments. Anyone wishing to address the council, state their name and address or organization that they represent. And each person is limited to no more than 5 minutes. Time may be extended by the chair if deemed necessary.
And then I've got some copies. Can I give those to someone there?
Yes.
Pass it on. All right. Jonathan Roberts, a little tall. Jonathan Roberts with the Fair Acres Family YMCA. I'm located, my personal address is 6226 County Road 120. And the YMCA is 2600 South Grand. So first off, Happy New Year's. I want to thank everyone for their dedicated service to the community. I'm entering my 22nd year of service for the YMCA, and I've spent 17 of those here in Carthage. I often reflect on how the YMCA has positively impacted families, individuals, children, and seniors in Carthage and the surrounding areas. It is also a time to acknowledge the organizations, foundations, and individuals who have partnered with us to make our community stronger and more vibrant. So I'd like to share some of our 2024 highlights. We operated 3 year-round facilities serving nearly 5,000 members weekly through our fitness and aquatic offerings and programs, and thousands more through our community services. This was made possible by 147 dedicated employees and over 500 volunteers. Beyond our business side, as a non-for-profit, our commitment to service remains as the heart of what we do. In the fitness, we expanded our fitness service to 24 hours a day, offering 38 unique fitness classes weekly. We also provided personal training and saw over 200 runners participate in our Maple Leaf 5K event. For our senior services include indoor pickleball 3 days a week, specialized land and water classes for balance and strength, free monthly lunch and learns, and we offer the only Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and dementia monthly support group meeting in our county. For aquatics, we offered 18 regular aquasize classes weekly, trained 67 lifeguards, taught swimming lessons to 72 children, hosted 9 swim meets, provided physical therapy services, and is home to the Carthage Tigers swim program. Additionally, we provided free drowning prevention classes to 137 second grade students in the summer, and we saw over 10,000 visits to the city outdoor pools, which the YMCA operated. With our youth sports, we continued offering a safe, fun environment through 11 youth sports programs with our 1,300 participants, including basketball, cheer, volleyball, soccer, floor hockey, flag football, baseball, and swim team. For the child care sector, we provided free child watch services for members, an after-school program at Steadley Elementary for 75 to 80 children daily, and a middle school program at the Youth Activity Center serving 40 kids as well. Our summer day camp served 72 families, and we also offered well-attended winter and spring break camps. For our youth center, we hosted over 134 sports tournaments and events, 250 hours of sport court rentals, and hosted over 370 birthday parties. We also had over 200 hours of usage on the golf simulator, and we offer free play for the Carthage golf teams on Wednesdays. Our biggest service, though, was providing 17,000 free dinners to children and families in need. So looking ahead in 2025, we plan to expand our main facility with a pavilion featuring sports courts and programming spaces underneath. We've also secured funding for a splash pad off our indoor aquatic center to introduce babies and toddlers to water safety. Additionally, we will be opening a new 30,000 square foot YMCA facility in Lamar, Missouri. We will continue our free weeknight dinner program and are expanding our drowning prevention programs to more schools and communities. Many of these programs and projects would not be possible without the support from so many foundations, trusts, and individuals. And if you would like to support the Y, you can do so through gifts, donations, volunteerism, or membership. And if you haven't already made health and wellness a New Year's resolution, we invite you to visit the Y and allow us to help you achieve your 2025 goals. So I'll close this with a quote as we approach Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So thank you for your time and for allowing us to share the impact in the YMCA has had in Carthage during 2024, and we look forward to doing more in 2025.
Thank you, Jonathan. We'll now have reports of standing committees. Committee on Insurance, Audit, and Claims, Chairperson Schramm.
The Committee on Insurance and Audit and Claims met tonight before the meeting. We made a motion to accept the claims for $2,166,736.04. The main standouts from that were the $50,103 to Zanovan. Most of that went to the roundabout construction. $63,215 to Midland Construction, and most of that was for the repair of the Parks and Recs office, and $30,653.38 on the fire truck lease. Those were just some standouts. Everything else seemed like normal payouts. What we did was to approve the salary study as it stood from McGrath, and we'll go over that in just a little bit. Do you want that now? Do you think? Okay. Let me tell you a little bit about that. I sat on the committee for the salary study, and I was proud to do so. There's some, we had hired the McGrath Human Resource Group to go over and do a compensation of our salaries within the city. And they reach from different markets, from Bella Vista, Bentonville, Harrisonville, Joplin, Lebanon, Neosho, Nixa, and Ozark to gather their data. And what we did in that was to take a salary compensation rate on the average current rate of our employees compared to the average of those surrounding areas, and we fell way below that. So what we've done is, with the help of Tracy and Michael from HR, go through each person, each employee's salary, and make it to a competitive level. And we separated out the fire department and the police department to their own range, so they were based on a different level, which was comparative to the other areas. We started with, oops, I know there's better notes here, I'm sorry. This is Tracy's copy, she made better notes. So the salary comparison, 53% of the minimums are no longer in line with the external market and needed adjustment. That meant 53% of our salaries fell below the market range. Overall, 88% of the positions were on an average that were below the market average, another 5% under, while 7% aligned. And it takes about 6 years to get to an average market rate, and that's falling behind on the current employee salary. So we went with step 6 of the average market rate, which brought us to our step 1 virtually, right?
It takes 6
Years,
years,
to get to.
current salary study, it takes 6 years to get to the market maximum or midpoint. And they technically, employees should be skilled in their position. Skilled in their position by the time they reach 3 to 5 years. So we did take that into consideration with the new steps.
And the consultants compared the salary range maximum to the average market maximum. And the city's salary range minimum is, okay, with that said, the city's salary range maximum is or above the average market maximum for 17% of the positions. And that's basically when someone's been in the position quite a while. The market maximum may have been a little higher than our max, but it was just on the few employees that had been for a while. So employee demographics, interviewing the city's employee demographics for positions covered in the study. The tenure of the organization ranges from new hire to 39 years. The overall tenure average of the employees is 5.23 years. The national average of the public sector is currently 6.4 years, so we've fallen behind in our employee retention. So what we had looked at mainly in this is to retain employees. So to give them a current market value wage to make it competitive in the market and provide them with their cost of living increase. Let me say this right. The cost of living has increased, so we wanted to make sure that they were up to date with the market. So a big thing that Tracy found very important is we raised those bottom levels up to $15 currently to make them competitive with a McDonald's worker, or you could go out and get any unskilled labor for $15. So we raised that now, and instead of in 2027. And all of that trickled down then to all of the salary ranges for our employees. And we also looked at this to raise this because personnel that have less than 5 years of service is 69% for our city. So we needed to figure out how to keep the employees. 84% had less than 10 years of service. So with this, the new salary will be, if it's approved tonight, it's gone through Budget and Ways, and it's gone through the Committee on Insurance Audit and Claims, and been approved to pass on to the council. It will go into effect January 23rd for the January 23rd to February 5th pay period, and they'll receive it on the payroll on February 7th. And this, instead of waiting for the raise in July, we decided we had saved enough salary this year from positions that were left vacant that we could implement it 5 months sooner. With saying that, instead of placing this in July, this will be the only raise for this year, because we made sure everybody at least received that 2% that they would have received in July. So actually, this is kind of a bonus to them, retro, to get that 5 months in before it would have been implemented in July. The next raise for them will be the cost of living, the COLA raise on January 1st. So tonight, you will see this on Resolution 2066 for approval. Is there anything else you'd like to say on that, Tracy?
Definitely want to thank the Salary Study Committee, and they were very gracious in making sure that they were taking care of all of our current employees. And I think it sends a message to our employees how vested this council is in making sure that they are taken care of, and I really appreciate that. I think that we listened to the department heads when this was presented to them prior to approval. I think this is the first time that it has been presented to the department heads, before it was actually approved by council. So they did have a little bit of a say in it, in looking at each individual employee and where they were placed in the salary grade. And the salary scales are actually, each grade is what we call front-loaded, because what we do, because they don't get to mid-range until after 5 years, the steps 1 through 5 do have a 3% increase between steps, and then the after step 5, it goes back to the 2%. So hopefully, even though we had stayed on top of giving the COLAs each year, we still managed to fall behind. So I thank the council for allowing us to hire McGrath to do another, to update our salary study. So I really appreciate that.
And who sat on that committee was Mayor Snow, Lori Lease, myself, Tracy, and the HR director, Michael. And I think that's it for insurance audit and claims. Thank you.
Budget, Ways and Means.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The Budget Ways and Means.
Oh,
Hold
sorry,
on, I have
Terry.
one more thing. We did accept the changes in insurance audit and claims of the tourism director, and that's also the public information officer. What the difference was in that was now that they would head a board of tourism made of the different entities in the town, and that they would also be handling Food Truck Friday because they're the main marketer for the city. So we thought that would be a good fit for that person. And we don't have to accept it now. We do? Okay. So we have a motion. We wanted to have a motion to accept that new salary job description to the council.
I move that we accept the new salary or the new job description for the tourism.
Tourism public information.
I second.
Oh, Lori beat you, I think.
Got a motion and a second to accept the new job description for the Tourism Public Information Officer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried.
And that's it for me. Thank you.
Now, Ms. X-Master, Budget Ways and Means Committee.
The Budget Ways and Means Committee met last night at 5:30 p.m. in the council chambers. The budget goals and budget calendar for fiscal year 25-26 were reviewed. Included in the budget goals was a recommendation to maintain an unassigned fund balance in the general fund of 35% of expenditures as a minimum. The plan also outlines the overall goals and priorities of fiscal year 26 budget. At this time, I make a motion to approve the budget goals and budget calendar for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Second. We got a motion and a second to accept the budget goals and the budget calendar for the 2025-2026 budget. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried.
The committee reviewed and approved a crop share farm lease agreement with SB Farms for the property generally known as the Economic Development Park. SB Farms had an existing lease for this property when it was purchased from the butchers. The 5-year agreement outlines payments for the lease and also includes a clause for payment to SB Farms should the land be needed for economic development purposes prior to the end of the lease. This is being presented in Council Bill 25-01. An emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Stronghold Data for a network and host project was approved. The cost for the project is $155,663.90 and is being funded in most part through a grant. This agreement is being presented as Council Bill 25-02 along with Budget Adjustment Resolution 2065 for additional project funds of $13,264. Council Bill 2503 for the final obligation of funds for ARPA projects in both fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25 was discussed and approved. Missouri and Northern Arkansas Railway Company has requested a signed agreement approving the railroad to perform an engineering review of the repairs at the McGregor Street Bridge. Cost of the engineering review is $39,061. Authorization for the mayor to enter into an agreement with the railroad is being presented in Council Bill 25-04. The city is being awarded an additional $87,000 federal financial assistance grant for the taxi service. This grant can be used for capital, operating, and/or marketing assistance and appears as Council Bill 25-05. Implementation of an updated salary study performed by McGrath and Associates was discussed. Funding to implement the salary study will cost an additional $395,000 per fiscal year. Salaries budgeted for the current fiscal year are $6,642,000, with only $3,087,000, or 46% expended as of January 10th due to positions that have been vacant. At this time, it is believed that a budget adjustment would not be necessary for additional funding to implement the salary study effective on the January 23rd through February 5th pay period. I move to approve the implementation of the salary study committee effective on the January 23rd through February 5th payroll.
I second.
Have a motion and a second to implement the salary study as recommended by the Salary Study Committee. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries.
A budget adjustment resolution for an additional $25,000 for the services of Paul Martin was approved and appears in Resolution 2067. A police car was involved in an accident recently. It was not the fault of the police officer, but the insurance company is only valuing the police car at $27,000. 3 bids were received to replace the police car. ESU Pursuits has a 2025 V8 Durango in stock for $44,900. Landmark Dodge quoted $43,386 for a Durango, but it would be 3 to 4 months before the vehicle is available. Corwin Dodge quoted $44,844 for a Durango, but it too would not be available for 3 to 4 months. I make a motion to approve the best bid of $44,900 to ESU Pursuits for a 2025 Durango, since it's currently available for purchase.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept a bid from ESU Pursuits for $44,900 for a new police vehicle. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried.
The next meeting of the Budget Ways and Means Committee is scheduled for February 10th.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Chairperson Heckmaster.
The Public Safety Committee met here in council chambers at 5:30 p.m. Monday, December 16th. Shelby Howard spoke on behalf of the Carthage Police Officers Association. The majority of police officers employed by the City of Carthage request to be recognized as a bargaining unit in the Southwest Missouri Fraternal Order of Police Regional Lodge 27 and Carthage Police Officer Association to be their exclusive bargaining representative, and to bargain collectively with the Fraternal Order of Police over their salary and other conditions of their employment. It was emphasized that at this point there is no itinerary or specific direction. They're just taking this as a first step in becoming organized. In addition, a request for a bargaining unit to be recognized and made up of officers from the rank of lieutenant and below. 21 signature cards from the Carthage Police Office were submitted. There is no cost to the city. City administration will work to prepare a council bill to be presented at the next meeting of the Public Safety Committee. Interim Fire Chief Jason Martin noted that radio installs are almost complete in both buildings. Chief Martin is working with Parks and Rec Director Abby Almendinger on a grant to replace the existing AEDs, which are also known as automated external defibrillators. Also, Chief Martin has plans to identify and address potential needs and improvements to our current emergency plans to the city. Captain Chad Deiniger provided a staffing station update. He noted that 2 new officers were hired. The police department switched to Motorola radios, which are much better than the previous radios. The next meeting of the Public Safety Committee should have been on Monday, January 20th. However, this is a federal holiday. Instead, the next Public Safety Committee will begin at 5:30 p.m. on Monday, January 27th, here in the council chambers. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Ms.
just want to
Cox?
point out that lieutenants will not be included in that.
I'm sorry?
Lieutenants will not be included.
Oh, would not be included, all right. Pick that up from the minutes, so.
Public Service Committee, Chairman Barlow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Services Committee met on December 17, 2024, at 5:30 p.m., discussed the following 4 items. Item number 1 was discussion of the purchase of a stump grinder due to the obvious loss of a massive number of trees, and this came in under budget and is a Sourcewell contract. The amount of the stump grinder is $9,126. This time I make a motion to purchase the Fabicat stump grinder in the amount of $9,126. It's been confirmed, by the way, that there is a 12-month warranty as opposed to a 2-year warranty. The 2-year warranty references the purchase of a piece of equipment. This is considered a tool/attachment, which is different.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the bid or the contract, the purchase of a stump grinder for the amount of $9,126. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 2, you'll see addressed in the mayor's appointments for a steering committee for the aquatic facility. Number 3, the Parks Director and HR are working, excuse me, on an updated job description. More to come on that at a later date. And item number 4, as referenced earlier, the tourism and PIO job description, which went on to the CIAC earlier this evening. That's it. Next meeting is January 21st at 5:30 p.m. in council chambers.
Thank you. Public Works Committee Chairman Taylor.
Public Works Committee did not have a meeting the first of the year. We had lack of business. We will have another one the first Tuesday in February.
Okay. Reports from special committees and board liaisons. Mr. Peterson?
Thank you, Mayor Snow. Yes, the Kellogg Lake Board met on last Thursday, January 9th at 6 p.m. at Ulmer Funeral Home. Had a pretty robust meeting. I'll go through a couple of the big items. So the new playground equipment that's out there. They're going to be doing a landscaping project that'll begin in spring of this year. Beautification of that area, which is already fantastic, so that'll be great, particularly around the bathrooms there as well. A big item of discussion is the rearing pond to the south of the lake. A 4-phase project that's been discussed involving dirt work around the rearing pond to prevent erosion, stabilization and damming of the north side of that rearing pond, followed by an ADA compliant sidewalk that will surround the rearing pond in a pavilion. That's a really good project, and I look to discuss that more here in the near future with this body. Additionally, Kids Fishing Day, believe it or not, is already going to be prepped beginning next month. So if anyone's willing to donate or help out or volunteer or assist, certainly we'll be looking that way here shortly. On some more minor points, the Kellogg Lake Board has renewed their status as a 501c3 entity, and the location of the meetings we've changed to Ulmer Funeral Home. Our meetings are held the second Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. So if anyone would like to come sit in, it's in the south back room of the funeral home. We're not in the funeral home, so it's not that intimidating. And yes, I think that covers it. A lot of good stuff going on at Kellogg Lake with that committee.
Thank you. Ms. Schramm.
On December 16th, I attended the Harry S. Truman Advisory Committee meeting on transportation. And I attended that with Tracy Cox, and it was a very important meeting because they're lining up the priority for the Missouri State Highway Department. I was appointed to the Member Bylaws Committee. I'll be a voting member for that. Carthage is on the short list for the Missouri Department of Transportation prioritization, which is the addition of a roundabout at HH and Chapel Road intersection. So that's very important to us with all the added traffic there because of the subdivision and schools going into place.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, the library board, Mr.
Barton.
Mayor, met this evening. A few things. February is Literacy Advocacy Month, and both Julie and Sherry are gearing up to head to Jeff City to advocate for libraries and for ours. We also had 3 new fellow Americans, new citizens, as part of their literacy naturalization program, which is a very exciting thing. The Winter Reading Challenge is just beginning. Story times are starting up this week. Preparations for the summer reading program are underway. They just received a grant for that, which is also very good news. They are challenged by being landlocked, sort of a long-term challenge in terms of parking when they have big activities, which have been very successful. So they're still looking at creative ways to try to get more parking in a landlocked area. But that's a good problem to have, of course, when there's so many people coming to the activities. So if you haven't lately, be sure and visit the library and watch their Facebook page for future activities.
Thank you, Mr. Barlow. Anyone else?
I had
Oh,
one more
Ms. Schramm?
item from the Committee of Audits and Claims. We did discuss a wellness points program for 2025 for the employees, and there's a $150 incentive for the employees to have their own
The first page,
100 or 200. I had one, I'm sorry.
the first page as well.
Okay. An incentive for them to seek their own personal care physician. So instead of going to the emergency room or emergent clinic. So I would make a motion that we accept this wellness program to earn 100 points and receive $200 for non-nicotine users and 100 for nicotine users.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the wellness program with an incentive of $100 for non-nicotine users and $200 for non-nicotine users, 100 for nicotine users. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And one other item, there's a tobacco, nicotine, and vapor reasonable alternative program that has a $600 a year health insurance incentive. And this is if there's, do I need to vote on that? Okay, I thought it was in the same thing. Never mind, thank you.
Thank you. For my report, I would like to start out tonight by saying thank you to the detectives at the Carthage Police Department for their work in the hit and run accident that occurred last month, and they're bringing that to resolution with the arrest of the driver of the hit and run car. So I'd like to thank the detectives at this time. I'd like to thank the street department for the snow removal last week. I believe they got out early, got some salt and cinders down, got the streets plowed where possible, and the streets were back to clear pretty close to that same day that we got that big snow last week. Then lastly, I'd like to thank Michael Keith for setting up our new furniture here in the council chambers. The furniture came in on Monday, and Michael worked to get that set up. I'm not sure, Michael, did you have some help from the Public Works also? Well, I'd like to thank them also. We've been waiting on this furniture for 2 years, and we had the prison build it, and we finally have got this new furniture in, and I think it's a major improvement to our council chambers. So thank you for your work in getting this set up. Zeb, tell your guys thank you. Michael, thank you for that. Also, I'd like to inform the council that after our last meeting, I had appointed a city administrator hiring committee, And since that time, I did add Chief Hawkins to that committee. Chief Hawkins being the longest employee of the city department heads. I've added him to the committee so that we could have some input from one of the department heads. So I did that. I've also met with a lot of people in the last month, and I'd like to at this time discuss the letter that you all were sent about the meeting that took place last week with the department heads and the management at Carthage Water and Electric. That letter was posted on Facebook. Originally, our plan was to post it on Facebook, but the letter was really meant for the employees to know that we are unified. Their management is unified both in the city departments and Water and Electric, and moving forward and putting the issues from the past year and a half behind us. I had asked that we go ahead and post it on Facebook because I knew there would be a lot of citizens that would be interested in what that letter exactly said. Then I thought maybe we should let the employees, because that's who the letter was meant for, see the letter first. Well, I forgot to tell Michael Miller not to post it. So it got posted and then it was taken down. So I've had some people ask me why that letter was posted and then taken down, and that was the reason. It was a miscommunication on my part for not asking Michael not to post it when I had asked him to post it previously. Also, we received a letter last week from the Carthage Humane Society. We have been working very diligently with the board of the Carthage Humane Society, and when we left the meeting last month, we asked them to come back because they have continued to tell us that they aren't sure if they'll be able to continue operating or not. And so then we got the letter. It was a surprise to all of us, but they are terminating their contract 2 weeks from last Monday, a week ago yesterday. And after that termination of that contract, we will still be able to take animals out there, but they will charge us $225 per animal. We're trying to work with them. We've sent them a letter in return saying that we are open to working with them. We are open to increasing our funding on the city side, but we need to have a definite resolution from them if they're going to continue operating or not. So I just want everyone to be aware that we are trying to work out an agreement that we can move forward with the contract with Humane Society. That's all I have for tonight. So now we'll have remarks from council members. Mr. Taylor.
I also want to thank Zeb and the boys for all the work that they did on the roads. Because as Zeb knows, my wife gets out and goes to work at 4:30 in the morning. And at 4:30 in the morning, there had already been a truck up my street spreading. So she didn't have to worry about getting to work. And it's greatly appreciated, all the things that the street department does at this time. Thank you, boys. That's all I have.
Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, I was actually going to echo that too with our winter weather. Zeb and the Public Works Department, just great job. And I was also going to note the roundabout in front of the hospital there is phenomenal. Looks great. And then secondly, the only other thing I wanted to highlight Jonathan and his work with the YMCA. I thought that was a really nice outline of the YMCA and what they do for our community. And I still think very, very fondly of volunteering for Jonathan, flag football and basketball referee through my high school years. I don't know how good I was, but it sure was good. So thanks to Jonathan and the Y for all they do for the city. That's all. Thank you.
Ms. Lees.
I'm also thankful for all the workers that were out working in the weather. You know, I received a letter I told Tracy about, and that was a citizen thanking us for our taxi service. You know, some things we go sight unseen and you don't think about them, and the people that are closed in and can't get out on their own. This lady said she would be completely lost without the taxi service bringing her to appointments and things. And she said, so please tell all those, it said, tell all those precious drivers, thank you. So that's what I wanted to highlight tonight, thank you.
Chief Hawkins, would you make sure that those precious drivers get that message? The taxi.
Yes, I will.
Hey, the taxi service, for those that you don't know, is operated through the police department, so it is a great service that we provide. Ms. Heckmaster.
I would like to thank Carthage Domino's for their support with Braxton Baxter, as well as this community. How phenomenal the way that young man was blessed. And at the last Public Safety Committee meeting, Mr. Deininger shared exactly the timeline and how fast and all the different people that helped. And it was just truly an incredible story, and congratulations to you all. Kudos to the city staff all across the board. As I looked at TV Monday morning, everyone's closed. Well, Carthage City Hall was here, and all the divisions were here. You know, we had power, we had snow plows going, we had running water, and what a blessing. I'd like to comment on a young lady by the name of Jaylyn Hoover. Jaylyn is 16 years old, she's a junior, and she just came in second in the state for something with Missouri Ag, which was she had to make a presentation in front of a lot of people, and they drilled her, and I'm just so happy for her. A lot of times we talk about sports and activities, but we're a well-rounded community. John Hacker, who is not here, was inducted into MSSU's The Chart Hall of Fame on December 7th, so that's a big deal. And that's what I have. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Barlow?
I want to echo what everybody said about all the services during our extreme weather. It's phenomenal. And I know we don't always find out all the details of things that happen with our first responders in different departments and the amazing work they do. They're not prone to tooting their own horn, but I was blessed and I'd call it even honored to get to hear a list of all the things that our law enforcement went through to come to successful fruition with this hit and run situation. And in my humble opinion, it was nothing short of stunningly awesome, amazing, phenomenal work. And I just can't say enough. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you, guys. Now, I want to just throw in a thank you for you and others for things that we don't know about. I know they're out there, but I got to find out about this one. I can't keep quiet. It was awesome.
Thank you. Ms. Schramm?
I just had a couple things. I'd personally like to thank Mayor Alan Snow and Interim City Administrator Tracy Cox for their leadership in holding a productive meeting with all department heads, including the CWP department heads. Although I didn't attend, I was outside the door when everybody came out of the meeting, waiting for another meeting. And I heard all the positive comments that went on, and I just want to thank them for making communication a key. And I appreciate you, Mayor and Tracy, for fostering an open, collaborative dialogue that benefits all of us. So thank you. And today, I had the pleasure of touring both fire stations with Interim Fire Chief Jason Martin and Fire Marshal Eli Maples. Eli's been with the fire department for 20 years. I even got to ride in the new fire truck, so I know you all will be jealous about that. It was driven by Colton Guerrero, a new firefighter, with 6 months with Carthage, although he had been with Webb City previously, along with Mike Hull with 6 years of service at the fire department and previously 5 years with the Carthage Police Department. The dedication and teamwork of our fire department was very evident, and we're fortunate to have such passionate individuals protecting our community. Thank you so much. I'd like to extend my thanks too for all those that worked in the severe weather conditions to ensure our city continues to function smoothly. From clearing roads to repairing water mains, all your hard work does not go unnoticed. Thank you. That's it.
Chief, were you able to put her in some throw-out gear and have her help fight any fires?
He tried, they tried. I said no.
Ladder. She needs to go up the ladder.
Thank you. Now we'll have miscellaneous reports of officers of the city. Chief Hawkins.
Thank you. I would like to express my appreciation to the committee, to councils for all the kind words. The detectives and the officers that were involved, and especially the leave the scene, a tragic accident as it was. Good old-fashioned police work, a lot of legwork, a lot of late hours, but they got the job done, and as you all have stated, they did a great job. So thank you for recognizing that. Also, thank you on behalf of the police department for the salary study. That's wonderful. It's truly going to help with recruiting and retention. I just can't express how much that's going to help. And so again, thanks to all of you. I again greatly appreciate it. And on a little bit lesser scale, but still very important, the fast approval of the car. That's also a big situation for us. Trying to get everyone in something to drive is very important. So again, just full of thanks tonight. So that's really all I have.
Thank you. Interim Chief Chief Martin.
Again, thank you for the wage study and getting that done so quickly. I know it was mentioned last summer that that was potentially going to take place, but for it to be implemented 5 months before our step raise is kind of a bonus to the employees to get to receive that. Ms. Heckmaster mentioned the grant for the AEDs we're working on. We turned that in actually to the wrong organization Monday and had to go get it and take it somewhere else. But I went to the McCune Brooks Trust, not the McCune Brooks Foundation. And it's in the process. I'll give you updates as I get them. I know everybody, we've talked about the baby box that we now have at Station 2. We finished the testing phase and we were trying to hammer out a date for they have a blessing ceremony. That will be 2 weeks from today on the 28th at 3:30 p.m. at Station 2, if anyone wants to attend that.
Chief, what was that time again?
3:30.
3:30.
We've filled one of the 3 vacancies that we currently have, and we're in the process of hiring 2 more. Have to go through some of the background checks, things like that, to finalize those 2 hires. But we're close. The winter made it here finally, and we see an uptick in building fires, motor vehicle accidents, and slip and fall injuries. So everybody be careful outside on this stuff. It turns slippery in a hurry, and you might still think you're 25, and then you realize the body doesn't react the same way it did 30 years ago. Big kudos to Zeb's guys. When they go out and clear the streets for everybody, they also come through and clean off the aprons at the fire stations so we can get our trucks in and out and be effective and not get one of them stuck or bogged down or slide into the building trying to back in. So thank you, Zeb. And that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Carney.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a few things this evening. I think Michael Keith can supply me with a microphone because he thinks I'm loud enough for his people. To add a little bit to what Jason said, when I was a fireman back from 2001, 2007, in that era, the street department didn't help push the snow off the aprons. We got out there and had to do it by hand. So when I took over that department, I thought, we're going to help everybody out we can, because that was one of the worst parts of that job, was shoveling the snow. I'd like to echo everybody else's sentiments, though, on the salary study. It's a huge impact to our staff and our employees, and especially this time of year. So the extra 5 months of that is a huge deal, and it's never been done. I've been with the city for 25 years now, and we've never seen it in the past. We did finish up the 25 or 24 into 25 leaf season this year, and I'd like to tell you exactly what date we started in November. I cannot remember what it is. But when we finished last week, we had hauled a total of 230 loads of leaves and made 1,604 stops. So the guys were busy for about 8 weeks on that. The recent snow we had, just kind of give you an update of what it cost us. We used about 100 tons of cinder and sand just since Thursday night, and where we're at today. Of course, we can do any cinders the same day, or cinders and salt, I'm sorry. So we do pile the snow on the square. If you guys drive around the square after the snow, you'll see all four corners have snow piled on it. There's not enough stormwater capacity up here to handle that, so our guys have to come back in then and load that in dump trucks, and we haul it out, which totaled about 30 loads on that. Kind of time frame, what we do, we start Thursday night, we split it into 2 shifts, the guys work 20 hours straight. So 2 10-hour shifts, we send them home, and they come back in, same thing Saturday, and Sunday they came in to check some more roads. You know, you hear good and bad comments, so I do appreciate all the good comments you guys have said. I know our staff has too, and I'll pass it back to it. But you have to keep in mind, we have 4 plows to run this town. So we only have 4 dump trucks with 4 snow plows on, and we have 4 salt spreaders. 18 guys, so it takes a lot. It's all hands on deck, and we do plow the main routes first, and then if we have time, we go to the secondary routes. And typically, by the time we get to any other areas, you know, the residential areas and side streets, the snow has melted off. So that kind of explains a little bit of what we do there. I've been asked about the sidewalk project up at the squares, or on the square, the sidewalks that will go around it. We also have a sidewalk project at Airport that will connect down from Grand to River Street, and then a portion of Fairview is included in that project, along with the one of HH and Chapel Road, which will tie into the new roundabout, hopefully one day we get it. Those projects will probably all take off about the same time as soon as the weather breaks, along with the traffic signal at HH and Garrison, and a few more other projects that we haven't really discussed yet. But so we have a lot going on in town. We're going to be busy. The guy spent 2 days up here, or a day and a half, trying to put together this furniture or these new desks with Michael Key's help. He had to handle the technical side, we handled the muscle side of things. It was a little more of a chore than what any of us anticipated, and we hadn't planned on doing it yesterday and today, but that's just how it worked out. So that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Ms. Cox?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to first report on our sales and use tax for the month of January, which would be collections that came in for the end of November. The sales tax is actually, for the month, it is down 8% or $20,000. We collected $233,000. Year to date, we are actually up on our sales tax of we're up, the total is $1,819,952. So it's $25,000 ahead of where we were at this time last year. Unfortunately, I don't get to share the same good news for our use tax. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It came in, the report came in yesterday, so I haven't quite had time to delve in to see what, where the decrease actually is. But our year-to-date totals are actually down 11.59% from the same time last year. Year-to-date total is $724,347. So we are actually under budget, under what we collected last year by approximately $95,000. So that's not good news. Also, we did receive our property taxes for this month, and they have come in strong. Most of our property taxes are brought in they're collected in December. We received the check in January. Last year, to date, at this time, we had received $454,000. This year, we have received $474,000. So we're up $20,000 on our property taxes. So we're doing good there, at least. Also, I would like to report that our audit is not yet complete because we crossed the threshold and are required to now have a single audit. So that takes a little more time to be completed. We did have a deadline to report something to the state by December 31st. So we have sent in the draft audit to meet that requirement, and we're not sure quite yet when she will be presenting the audit though. For the fiscal year ending June 30th of 24. And I also would like to thank Jonathan for his report tonight and all that the Y does for this community. They really provide a lot of services and do a lot of good work for our community. So thank you very much on that. Also, I have been involved in the meetings with the Humane Society, and I just want to acknowledge that I that I do understand their value and the services that they provide to the community. I hope we can continue with our meetings and resolve our partnership for the betterment of the community and also for the care of our precious fur babies. I am excited to announce that we have hired a tourism director, public information officer she will begin January 21st. A lot of you probably know her. Her name is Melissa Little. And I think the direction that this position is going with the tourism board and everything, it's going to be bringing a lot of the different sectors from the community together, and I hope that we can accomplish a lot of things moving forward with that position. And last but not least, I am thankful to have Zeb back to our council meeting to share in the activities of his department. And it took a lot of work to get this council chamber set up. We got a call yesterday morning, and they said that they would be delivering furniture that had been on order for over 2 years. They said that they would be here in 30 minutes. And the original plan was to put everything in the lobby and wait until after tonight's meeting to try and get it put together. But as you can see, we have a lot of pieces, and it didn't, it took up all the space in the lobby, so they had to actually get into action and start a plan. It's not quite complete. We have to work on the issue with the microphones, but thank you to Michael Keith and the employees from the Public Works Department for getting this taken care of, so we could have our meeting tonight. And if you would have come to the budget meeting last night.
Yes. Amazing difference.
Yes.
Great.
You could barely get in here, so thank you for getting that accomplished. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Gold?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
We'll now have the report of the Claims Committee.
The Committee on Claims filed a report in the amount of $2,166,736.04.
I move that we approve the January 14th claims report as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the claims. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Now move on to new business.
The first reading of Council Bill 2501, an emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a crop share farm lease agreement with SB Farms for the property generally known as the South Economic Development Park in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion?
I make a motion that we approve Council Bill 25-01.
I need a motion to forward it to second reading,
I need a
please.
motion to, I will make a motion to forward this to second reading, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to forward Council Bill 2501 to second reading. Any discussion?
Yes, I've been asked by several people if the city's getting into farming. That's not it at all. So just to know, can you describe that a little bit more on what that property is?
Tracy, would you like to?
Yes, so the property is actually the Economic Development Park that was recently purchased. And there was an individual that was farming it at the time, and so as reported by Ms. Heckmaster, it is just a lease for farming the ground. There is a clause in there just in case we do get some activity in the Economic Development Park. There is a clause in there in case we do disturb the land for reimbursement of his expenses and everything. But it is definitely good to have that, until we actually use that land.
This lease was also bid. I believe we had multiple bidders, and this was the best bid.
That is correct.
Seeing no further discussion, cast your votes.
No, you have to approve the second reading. Moving forward.
Motion to move Council Bill 2501 to second reading. Do we need Cast your votes or just voice vote?
You can just voice vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The second reading of Council Bill 2501, an emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a crop share farm lease agreement with SB Farms for the property generally known as the South Economic Development Park in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion? Cast your votes. Motion carries.
The first reading of Council Bill 2502, an emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Stronghold Data LLC for the network and host project in the amount of $155,663.90 in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion? I would entertain a motion to move it to second
I
reading.
would make a motion that we move this to second reading, Your Honor.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to move Council Bill 2502 to second reading. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second reading of Council Bill 2502, an emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Stronghold Data LLC for the network and host project in the amount of $155,663.90 in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion? I will add that the majority of this will be through a grant, so I appreciate Mr. Keith working on that and getting that grant for us. Any further discussion? Cast your votes. Council Bill 2502 passes.
The first reading of Council Bill 2503, an emergency ordinance amending the annual operating and capital budget of the city of Carthage for fiscal year 2023-2024 and for fiscal year 2024-2025 for the ARPA fund.
Any discussion?
I make a motion, Your Honor, we forward this to second reading, please.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to forward Council Bill 2503 to second reading. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The second reading of Council Bill 2503, an emergency ordinance amending the annual operating and capital budget of the city of Carthage for fiscal year 2023-2024 and for fiscal year 2024-2025 for the ARPA fund.
Any discussion? Cast your votes.
Hold on. Well, it passed 6-0.
Council Bill 2503 passes.
The first reading of Council Bill 2504, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Missouri and Northern Arkansas Railroad Company Incorporated for the plan review of the McGregor Street Bridge in the amount of $39,061 in the city of Carthage, Missouri.
Any discussion?
In the first reading of Council Bill 2505, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to accept federal financial assistance in the amount of $87,000 on behalf of the city of Carthage and to execute any contracts resulting from accepting any grants between the city of Carthage and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, providing for capital, operating, and/or marketing assistance comprised of federal funds to be expended for commission-approved transit projects.
Any discussion? Move on to mayor's appointments.
The mayor's appointment of Ray West as council member for Ward 2.
I would like to address this. After the filing deadline, Mr. West was the only individual to file for the Ward 2 seat. So I believed that at this time to appoint Mr. West to the council so that he could serve until the April election, give us one more person in case we need that one additional person for a quorum. I thought that it was important that I do that at this meeting. So that's why I'm making this appointment tonight. I would entertain a motion to accept the appointment of Mr. West.
Motion to accept.
I move that we accept the appointment of Mr.
West.
Thank you, to the council.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to appoint Mr. Ray West to Council Ward 2 seat. Mr. West has served on the council previously, so I'm familiar with Mr. West and look forward to working with him in the future. So, all in favor of appointing Mr. West to Ward 2 council seat, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. West, we will swear you in at our next meeting, and at that time, I'll have your committee appointments ready for you.
And then the mayor's appointment of Bill Putnam, Laura Phelps, Shelby Baugh, Jeff Meredith, Casey Thayer, Jonathan Roberts, Amy Burton, Lori Lees, Tracy Cox, and Abby Almendinger to the Aquatic Park Steering Committee.
I would entertain a motion to accept my appointments for the Aquatic Center Committee.
I make a
Said
motion.
motion, sir.
Go ahead, I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to accept the appointment of the committee for the Aquatic Park Steering Committee. Any discussion? I guess there is no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Are you ready for the resolution?
Yes.
Resolution 2065, a resolution authorizing a supplemental budget adjustment to the General Revenue Fund Information Technologies Capital Outlay for the Network and Host Project in the amount of $13,264.
I move that we move forward with Resolution 2065.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2065. Any discussion? Cast your votes. Resolution 2065 stands adopted.
Resolution 2066, a resolution accepting the results of the compensation system market update by McGrath Human Resources and implementing the salary adjustments on the January 23rd through February 5th, 2025 pay period.
I move we adopt Resolution 2066.
I second that.
Got a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2066. Any discussion? Cast your votes.
Well, that one passes too, 6-0.
Resolution 2066 stands adopted.
Resolution 2067, a resolution authorizing a supplemental budget adjustment to the General Revenue Fund for Central Municipal Activities Professional Services for Paul Martin in the amount of $25,000.
I move we adopt Resolution 2067.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2067. Any discussion? Cast your votes.
The vote, this does not pass. It was 4 yeses to 2 nos. With Chris Taylor and Lori Lees casting the no votes.
Resolution 2067 fails. Closing comments, Mr. Peterson.
Nothing further tonight, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Lees.
Nothing further, thank you.
Ms. Heckmaster.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Mr. Barlow.
The railroad plan review, I'm gonna guess some people made an effort to lower that cost since it was so much more. Probably spent time on that we don't know about. I just wanna say thank you for trying to save the city money from an excessive increase from previous work. Thank you.
Ms. Schramm.
I also wanted to say that I had been part of the hiring committee, or I am part of the hiring committee for the city administrator. We had 5 applicants we were considering. We have interviewed 2. We have, I think, the last 2 set up this week. One of those had already taken another job. So hopefully we'll have that decision in place by the end of the month, we're hoping. Also, this morning I attended the Jasper County Commissioners meeting where Debbie Darby from the Health Department shared that flu and norovirus cases are on the rise. Please make sure to wash your hands. And I had also met with Sally Stewart, the new director of Vision Carthage, and she is eager to begin the beautification, starting with the downtown flag program and installation of the artwork at the roundabout at Garrison and Elk. And Sally's enthusiasm for our city is contagious, and we're lucky to have her leadership. And that is it for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes,
I would like to make one other comment, please, if I may.
you may at this time.
On Resolution 2067, part of this $25,000 is for services already provided. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor.
I have nothing further, Your Honor, but at this time, I would make a motion to go into closed session according to section 610.021, section 2. The agenda includes the possibility of a vote to close part of the meeting to discuss leasing, purchase, or sale of real estate by a public governmental body where public knowledge of the transaction might adversely affect the legal consideration thereof.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to go into closed session. Cast your votes. Motion passes. We're in closed session. Call the meeting back to order. Miranda, would you take roll?
Taylor,
Present.
Peterson,
Present.
Lees. Here. Heckmaster,
Present.
Barlow.
Here.
Tran.
Here.
I would entertain a motion to
I
adjourn.
make the motion, we adjourn for the.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. This is.
In the posterior on the way out.